Again, and last but not least, we have Theory of the Firm, Episode 3, Profit Maximization, using a normal demand curve, because I think that's the hardest one. Okay, so we're going to start with, why does PowerPoint think I spelled maximization wrong? My apologies. Okay, so we're just going to start talking about the profit maximization quantity, right? We need to know two new curves we haven't discussed yet in this video series, right? So MC we discussed in the last video, but here we have this green curve, the downward sloping curve. We will call it DARP, as it is the demand curve, right? We've learned about this since the beginning of econ, a downward sloping normal demand curve. As quantity increases, costs and/or price decreases. Right, so that's our demand. We also have, we know this is the same as our average revenue for a normal demand curve, and it's also the same as the price. That's how we'll find the price using this curve. Then we have the red curve here, which is our marginal revenue, the revenue added from the next unit produced. We'll see here that this should be twice the slope of the demand curve, and it should cross 0, right, and actually go negative at some point. So how do you find the profit maximization quantity? The answer is right there on the screen already for you. The magic answer is MR equals MC, and this is maybe the most important point to remember for theory of the firm is profit maximization, MR equals MC, so the point where these 2 point curves cross, right, is our magic quantity. You can remember this by, I do not know, Mr. MC, Mr. McDonald, I don't know, make up something. So we found here, this is where these 2 points cross. Great, so we know that the profit maximization quantity, right, should be here at Q, where MR crosses MC. So we can put in this as our quantity. Now, what price are we going to charge at that quantity? Well, we got to trace it up, right, from this quantity. We're going to go all the way up until we hit the price line. The price line is also the demand curve. So when I hit that curve, I know that's the price that I'm going to charge as a producer. And so I'll take my ruler and draw over to the cost and fill in that as the price or cost, depending on the curve we're discussing. Okay, so that's the price I'm charging. This is the quantity. And, what did I just do there? Crazy. Now I want to know what's my profit. Right? In order to figure out the profit or loss for a firm, we need to be able to, I'm going to do this. Introduce one new curve, which is the average cost curve or average total cost curve. Okay? So when I find out what my average costs are for the firm, this curve will often already be in there. You can draw it wherever you like, depending upon what kind of profit you want the firm to be earning for your example. Okay, so here I have AC. Remember, it has to hit MC at its lowest point, right, whenever you're drawing it in. And when I see this is my price, this is my quantity, well, I know profit is revenue minus costs. So here's my average revenue for that price. And here's my average cost for that price. Okay, so the distance between the average revenue curve and the average cost curve is either my profit or loss. Now, in this example, right, AC is less than AR, right? So my costs are lower than my revenue, which means I'm making a profit. And in economics, we think that's weird. So we say that's an abnormal profit. And so that distance, right, we could draw in a box here and shade it in as I have done, abnormal would be an abnormal profit because AC, your average costs are lower than your average revenue. If my cost curve is actually hitting my average revenue curve like it is here, or at least I tried to draw it, sorry, Google Draw, AC equals AR, so these should be kind of tangential here actually, then I'm making a normal profit, right? Because in economics, if you make 0 profit, that's normal. That would be the break-even price for that firm, right? And then last but not least, if my costs are higher or AC is greater than AR, then I'm making a loss, right? I'm paying more per for this quantity that I'm making. So the distance here between AC and AR is my loss, and I could shade that in as my loss. Let me know if you have any other questions. You can use the same method for perfect competition. In fact, I think it's a little easier. Have nothing else to say.